Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Billion Dollar Movie Club. This is the show where we talk about the movies that made $1 billion or more around the world. And then we go, wow, that's cool. Maybe there's something to these movies. Sometimes there's not,
Maybe.
sometimes there is. Whoa, a voice from the ether if you're listening to the podcast. Where did that voice come from? Who is there? Reveal yourself.
It is I, Pawan Mehta.
Help on Meta. Thank you for joining me, Christian Pawan, as you do every week.
Yes, it is such a surprise that I'm here once again on a weekly basis.
This is a tough time in the world. So little certainty is there that you never know
But you
what's going
know
to
what?
happen.
What will be certain? That we're
What?
going to get through these movies.
Wow. Wow. And by golly, can you believe it? This is the 33rd movie we're doing. The 33rd movie.
In a
And
row.
it is in a row
Yeah,
compared to movies
we just went
diagonal.
week after week.
Juan, but what about the movies
Like
in a
movies on
column?
different planes.
What about movies in a column? What movies are we discussing on this column today?
We're discussing the movies that actually did make $1 billion in this column.
Ooh, and that is
Today we are discussing Black Panther.
Black Panther, the film by Ryan Coogler, great director, released on February 16, 2018, with a budget of $200 million. Now, Pawan, I got a lot of facts for you coming up, all right? So put
All
on
right,
your fact glasses.
hit me with the facts. All right, wait 1 second. I'm gonna take these glasses off. Oh, hey, glasses that look exactly identical, but they are fact glasses.
Wow, magical.
I'm ready.
The film opened over President's Day weekend. So it had a 3-day total of $202 million, but 4-day total of $242 million domestic opening. It is the highest opening for a non-Avengers at the time for a non-Avengers MCU movie, and was the highest February, winter, and President's Day weekends. All right. Its second weekend, it made $112 million, a 45% decrease. It was the second best second weekend ever for a movie and the smallest drop for an MCU film. It would go on to become the highest grossing February release ever, taking the title from, yes, you guessed it, Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ. The film would be number one for 5 weekends straight until it was dethroned by, yes, you guessed it again, Pacific Rim Uprising. This
I didn't even see that one.
Black Panther's release in 2018 is the very first film to have 5 consecutive weekends at number one since Avatar in 2009. It was also the first film released in February to have 5 weekends at number one since Wayne's World in 1992. What an accomplishment to go from Mike Myers to Chadwick Boseman. This is a headline, March 10th, 2018, from Rebecca Rubin from Variety. Black Panther crosses $1 billion at global box office. The film would go on to gross $700 million domestic and a total of $1.347 billion. It, at the time, was the 3rd highest grossing film domestically and 9th worldwide. Currently sits at number 4 domestic and 12 worldwide. Pawan, what a
Before we
film.
get, yeah, I one thing I do remember about this one that I don't really remember about all the rest is the amount of word of mouth press
Yes.
that this one got in relation to most movies on this list. Like
Yeah.
this eclipsed all of that in terms of just like free marketing from the audience.
Yeah, I think it is the rare. I would say we haven't seen this since Avatar. Maybe you could throw in like a Force Awakens, where like yes, it was based on established property, but it grew even greater than you would expect that to be.
But like I remember seeing like Facebook posts and stuff like that of like you know Black people being like, this movie is for us, we need to go and support this.
Yeah.
And like people buying out entire theaters to bring like school groups and stuff like that to go see it.
It wasn't an event. And I think there was a time where every entry on this list was an event. You know, the first two movies were Titanic and Return of the King.
Oh yeah. Like Titanic was, of course, James Cameron at like one of his like creative peaks. Return of the King was like 3 movies in a row of bangers, year after year after year.
I don't know if top. I don't know if we throw in Dead Man's Chest. I don't know what, but like Dark Knight was an event.
Yeah.
Avatar was an event, and then slowly it was diminished as ticket prices were increased and more movies made that billion. But this was an event. Also fun to note, it was still like doing pretty well by the time next week's movie Infinity War came to theaters, and so there's a bump in Black Panther tickets sold the week Infinity War came out. It's crazy. You know what else is crazy? The events of this film. Pawan, what happens in this movie?
Okay, so we open as every Black Panther story should, in Oakland, California. There's a man there, Sterling K. Brown, treasure that he is.
Sure. Sure. Oh,
about to do a weapons deal of some kind. And then Black Panther man shows up. He's like, you betrayed your peoples. He's like, no, you betrayed the world. And then Black Panther man is, I'm sorry, but I gotta kill you now. And he kills him now. And then while down on the street, we see a young boy look up and see the spaceship. He's like, oh shit, I think I know what went down. Cut to the future. And like the Wakandans are reeling from the events of Civil War because their king is dead. But now they're celebrating a new king because Mr. Chadwick Boseman himself is like, I'm the king now. I'm going to care for our people. And then they have a whole ceremony about it. He fights with one of the other tribes to be like, you know what? I need to prove that I could be the king of everyone here. So he does that and he wins. And then while all this is happening, that little kid from before, he grew up. Can you believe it?
Kids grow up?
Yeah, I know. It's like 10 years go by and someone who is small becomes big. And now he's killing people left and right. He might as well call him Killmonger because he mongers them kills. And he's getting weapons deals. He's dealing with Andy Serkis. He kills Andy Serkis. He brings the body to Wakanda. He's like, I'm the king now. And then he defeats the Black Panther in combat. But he didn't kill him. So the fight wasn't over. So they continue the fight, even though there's the one tribe that's like, nah, it was over, boy, it's over. So they help the new king. And then there was big fight, like Battle of the Five Armies type shit. And then Killmonger, get this, the Killmonger was killed. And that was the movie.
That was a movie. Before I forget, I'd like to point out something very fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for you. Black Panther is the first entry in this film, in this podcast, since Toy Story 3 to be a Best Picture nominee. And would go on, I believe, 7 Oscar nominations with 2 wins. It won for 3 wins. I apologize. 3 wins: production design, costume design, and soundtrack or score. With additional nominations for the 2 sound picture, and I think I'm missing one. Maybe it was only 6 nominations. I had it pulled up and then I left the page because I was trying to figure something else out. But this really was a moment, and watching it again, it's still a solid movie. I don't know, what do you think?
It's a really solid movie. We're getting to that point in the podcast where like these movies came out semi recently, so like watching it again, I do remember the events like pretty well.
Hmm.
So it's a good thing that more than half the movies from here on out, I haven't seen yet.
You want something new, something you haven't seen before.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it was a really good movie.
I want to bring up. We've had a discussion many a time on this show,
Mhm.
and I'm sure it's a discussion we'll have in the coming weeks, including next week, about MCU and the action. Yes,
Wait, next week?
next week's Infinity War.
Shit.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Because you correct me if I'm wrong. You brought up that you feel like a lot of the action loses something because of all the different cuts and it's hard to keep track,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I felt that a bit during the water fights, the one-on-ones, but not. I don't think it was as much as like a Civil War cut. But
It wasn't as
like,
bad as Civil War, but I did get lost a good amount in the fights.
I do want to shout out the casino scene, which was terrific.
Didn't like that.
You didn't like the casino scene?
Again, it felt like too much, too many cuts. And like
It starts off.
there were moments where you could see them like holding back somewhat, and like
Really?
I felt like you could see the moment where they like punch and then there's like the space and then
Interesting.
Because I really like this movie. Just did not like the fights like that.
I do want to say it's odd. I don't think we talk about the action in this movie in the same way we talk about maybe future spoilers, Cap picking up Mjolnir or whatever other badass moments there are in other MCU movies. I don't think that happens in the action sequences here. But I really like that casino scene, and it starts off with Denaigra's Okoye, that's her character, right?
Yeah.
She fights with the speed brawl, uses the wig as a weapon, and then it turns into this wonder of like going through all of the casino and cutting through, and there's some like it's kind of obvious where the cuts are, but it's hidden well enough that like, oh, I could get lost in this.
I'll be honest, for me, watching that again, I was just like, yo, can I go back to Skyfall with that casino scene?
Ooh, well, Skyfall is something different. Skyfall is something different.
But like for me, it was just too close in terms of like setup and like what the fight was. That it just reminded me of that. And I was like, damn, that actually had some really good choreo. And
was the Skyfall casino the one with the
with the dragon? Yeah,
that was a fun one. But yeah, I do think it's interesting. I don't feel like we ever talk about the action in this movie. Except for the ending fight that I don't think holds up at all.
You know what? There was one moment that really reminded me of this Raimi Spider-Man fights.
Which one?
When they're falling towards the
yeah. I could see that.
Because it really was reminiscent of the free fall moments of like the Doc Ock fights or the fight with Venom at the end of 3.
Well, going into that, my biggest issue with the Black Panther Killmonger fight at the end, when they're one-on-one on the train, is that yes, it kind of looks cool, but there's no weight to the effects, and it's a little.
That's the other thing. The special effects in this movie are just, they feel very, I don't know, there's some uncanny valley aspect to it that like you could tell, like even in the casino fight, there was the moments where like you see the hand-to-hand combat and then he does that super jump to get to the next level and you're like, oh, I saw the effects or something wasn't really just like blended in well enough.
Interesting. Because I feel like that's the biggest complaint people have about this movie is the special effects.
Yeah.
I think in the fight sequences, it's not the greatest. But when you get to like, all the stuff in Shuri's lab or
when it's just by itself, it's pretty damn solid.
I really liked that opening sequence. I forgot it was like the tale of how the Wakandans discovered the vibranium, and so there's this little like fable and animation.
Right, but it's
beautiful.
Yeah, it's great when that is what it is. But like when they have to like mix the CGI with the actual like film stuff, it's kind of off.
it feels off. But I think it says something when the action isn't the best part of your action movie, and yet people still love it and
Yeah,
gravitate to it. I think we need to point out that like there's shit we're gonna miss as two not black people.
yeah. The one thing I will say about the action scenes, just going back to it really quickly,
Mm.
I did like the car chases or the car
Yes,
chase. That was good. I really like that
I
one moment where he turns the car by like scraping the
yes,
gravel. That
yes.
shit was tight.
I will say I we watched a bunch of the Fast and Furiouses for this podcast. I finally watched Hobbs and Shaw this week,
Mhm.
and the cars felt a little slow in comparison to Fast and Furious.
Well, yeah, yeah,
But after getting over that, I'm like, oh, they're doing some really cool stuff here. The way he jumps from car to building to car. I like Okoye and oh, what's Lupita's character's name? Nakia.
yeah.
I like them in the car and they're like kind of calm reaction to everything until the car comes apart and Lupita slides down. Uh and Shuri jumping like controlling the that was really cool controlling the car from Wakanda.
One thing I'll never get over in this movie is that one moment with Shuri when she's talking to
To
Ch- uh
T'Challa.
T'Challa in the lab at the beginning. It's so jarring still. The what are
It's
those moments?
I remember being in theater thinking, what the fuck? But also the entire theater erupting in laughter. It's I don't like it, but I understand what's there for, which I was thinking about as it was coming. I'm like, I don't want to get to this line, but I'm like, Shuri is there to be the future and disrupt the traditions and shows that it's possible to still be traditional and still be in one with the current world. And so, yeah, she is influenced by modern day culture. She references movies and she makes TikTok references because who doesn't? Or is it Vine? Is it TikTok or Vine at that time? I don't know.
But the okay, if we're gonna get into like backstory, then I don't know how much that's true because if anything, she seems like maybe she's experiencing the outside world just through that lens of the internet. Because at the end, when they go to Oakland, she's like, "You finally take me to California, and we just come here."
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
Oh,
she
you were,
experiences it
yeah,
through the lens of the internet.
yeah.
Hence, what are those?
I don't know. It like I get it.
I don't
It
like
still
it. I
felt
don't like
really.
it, but I think it fits. I think it says a lot for the character that she tosses that in.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. There's no argument here. I don't know what we're.
Pawan, I have a thought, and I'm gonna fight for my thought. All right. You see this? You see this? This is from every thought I fought for. I have none because I haven't fought for any thoughts, and I want to finally do it.
You've had no thoughts.
No, no thoughts. No thoughts at all. All these discussions on the podcast, I just read off Wikipedia. I'm under the tab that says reception, and these are all my thoughts.
Damn, I didn't know that the reception tabs were so long.
5 hours long. Um, there is an element to this movie that's been added, and I don't know if it's because of recent events, but it feels so much more tragic with the passing of Chadwick Boseman.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I think this is a hopeful movie by the end, as he takes the reins and he's gonna blend the past and present, and then the dude dies, and it fucking sucks. I
you know,
fucking hate it.
but like speaking of the hopefulness of this, like I love how the two movies going into Infinity War are like full of hope.
What was the other one before this?
Thor
Oh, you're talking about in the
Ragnarok.
podcast. In the podcast.
No,
Oh,
no, no.
is
And the
Ragnarok one
Marvel.
before this? Interesting.
And then Infinity War just happens, and then it's just like, no, fuck whatever those movies were about.
Actually, that's fun though. Bring the hero up, and then they're knocked down by Infinity War.
We'll talk about Infinity War when we
Yeah,
get to
we'll get to it.
Infinity
We'll
War.
get to it.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting, talking about that element of hope. Um, we watched In the Heights this weekend as it came out. In the Heights, director John M. Chu, his previous film Crazy Rich Asians. I think they both tackle this idea of blending the past and present, and you get a lot of that in both Black Panther and last week's episode, Last Jedi, which I think is very interesting. This is where I get analytical. Can you tell?
Well, I mean, it's a kind of Disney's modus operandi at this point.
But I was saying I wasn't done. I think it's interesting in this post-Trump world. After his election, right? And he was so like, we're gonna go back to America's values. The way it was is the correct way and right way, right? And then you get Last Jedi, which challenges the past and questions it. Same with Black Panther, Crazy Rich Asians, in the Heights. And I just found that to be an interesting thing to notice in the 3 movies I watched this month.
I don't know. It feels like Disney's just been doing that in general, even in terms of its animated movies. They're basically like taking what worked before and assimilating it to the current culture.
But I feel like Disney will glorify it. Something like Mary Poppins Returns, I feel like glorifies the past, right?
Yeah, but then you get something like Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Ralph Breaks the Internet. I don't like
Yeah.
that. What did it
but
do?
like that's like the scene that was in the trailer with just like making the jokes about all the princesses.
Yes, but I think making jokes about and reckoning with it are 2 different things. It understands that the path forward isn't the absolute, let's go back to what used to work, or the absolute, with Killmonger. But absolute anarchy is not the correct answer either. There's a blend that we need. And I think you get that in the Heights, in Black Panther, in Last Jedi, which I don't know if Disney as a whole is sticking to that philosophy, but I think that's interesting to see these filmmakers reckon with that in these more recent movies.
Interesting. So let's go back to the movie.
Sure. I was talking about the movie.
Yeah,
and
sure
the
you were.
connotations of it.
Sure you
were. Looking at it in a wider lens. Pawan, you can't do this with Despicable Me 3. All right.
You want next
Please
time?
examine Despicable Me 3 in a wider lens in its context in the world.
Just wait till Minions 2 happens. We're going to have to talk about it.
Pawan, that movie's not coming out. It's Despicable Me. No, it's Minions 2 and fucking the Wicked movie. They're never coming out.
But yeah,
I mentioned earlier. Oh, did you have something, or may I?
Andy Serkis. He was fun.
What do you want to say? So I this kind of rolls into what I want to bring up. I mentioned the Oscar nominations and wins. Let me just get their names, because I feel like I'm disrespecting them if I don't say their names. And fuck, there's a lot of information on this Wikipedia page. It's very hard to find what you're looking for. Why is it this fucking hard to find what I'm looking for? I know what I'm looking for. I know it where it usually is on a Wikipedia
come on,
page.
you're used to this by now. Every week you just go through what's on the Wikipedia page, right? Why is this so hard?
Yeah, but there's so much this time. As I mentioned earlier, was it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Oscar nominations: sound mixing, sound editing, production design, song, score, costume design, picture. Wins in original score for Ludwig Göransson. Do you know Ludwig Göransson?
I don't.
The dude does all of Ryan Coogler movies, does all of the stuff with Childish Gambino. He just did Tenet. He does Mandalorian, one of the great
Wait, he did the score, you said?
Yeah, one of the
So
great
he's the
composers.
reason you can't hear the dialogue in Tenet.
No, no. I do like that he won the Oscar. I bet you everyone expected a black man to walk up on stage because he's a white, and it is just very funny. Um, Production design, the team Hannah Beachler and Jay Hart. I
Mhm.
believe Hannah Beachler is like the first black woman to win that and be nominated in that category, which is badass. And then Ruthie Carter does incredible costumes. She's Spike Lee's go-to person a lot of the time. Uh, I, and she did incredible costumes. But I wanted to bring up
Yeah.
going to you in a circus. This film won best cast ensemble at the SAG Awards, which is their kind of equivalent of Best Picture. The first superhero movie to ever do that. And it's a really fucking great ensemble. As the movie goes on, I'm like, oh hey, we talked about this person in another movie, and that person, and we'll talk about. I think the only person who's not in another movie we talk about on this podcast is Daniel Kaluuya.
Right, because we talked about Us, not Get
We
Out.
talked about Us, but even like Lupita. First off, Lupita and Andy Serkis, I think, is the first pair of co-stars to appear in 2 consecutive episodes of the podcast. They're both in Last Jedi, and now they're both in Black Panther.
Wait, who was
Serkis
Circus and
Serkis is Snoke,
Oh.
and Lupita's Maz Kanata.
Hmm.
Um, I think someone is also going to appear in next week, if I remember correctly.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are. Chadwick
No, I mean,
Boseman's gonna appear.
I think one of them is in Infinity War too. So you make them the first 3-time person.
I was about to
But
say,
yeah,
like, yeah, I
Chadwick
think someone's
and
gonna appear next week in Infinity War.
Chadwick, Denai, Letitia, all gonna pop up again. But fuck, this cast is great. Forrest Whitaker's back. What are you gonna say?
I was about to say, like, it feels like at this point, whenever there's like a big black movie like this, they call together like a similar team. Like it's always the same names for the most part.
Well, that's the same thing with when Asians do movies. Like a bunch of the
Yeah.
crazy rich Asian people were also in Raya and the Last Dragon or Over the Moon. Like there's so many talents, but when you have something of this magnitude, this size, you want the A-lists. And sadly, the pocket of A-lists isn't as wide as white people because Hollywood. It's got Hollywood. So you are gonna get, Denai and Lupita and Kaluuya. It's really weird Lakeith Stanfield's not in this movie.
Oh yeah. Well, he wasn't that big yet, was he?
This is post Get Out in Atlanta. Sure, he
But
didn't
I,
have Judas yet, but
but I don't think he really got big until like season 2 of Atlanta
no, I'm not gonna say
with
you're
the
wrong.
Teddy Perkins episode. I think that's when he started to blow up.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'll be honest. I don't think Lakeith blew up fully until he randomly got nominated for an Oscar. I
Yeah,
think
for
Lakeith.
Sorry to Bother You, right?
No, he was nominated for Judas.
Oh yeah.
I feel like even with Sorry to Bother You, and I'm sure there's other movies I'm forgetting. Knives Out. Like he was always that. Hey, it's that dude territory. And then he randomly gets nominated for the Oscar in supporting actor. We're like, oh, Lakeith's officially out of that.
It is crazy because he isn't like I love Lakeith, but he really is not a showy actor. And I love that he's able to like get into that level while not being that.
Yeah, that's part of what's great of Lakeith, but it's sadly Lakeith's not in this movie. However,
Right.
as I brought Forrest Whitaker, I don't remember him being in this movie as much as he is. I could have sworn it was just like 2 scenes, one at the beginning, one at the end. I swear he's playing the same character as Rogue One.
He is, yeah. Yeah.
With an accent, and I still love it. He's great.
I mean, he does turn down the crazy factor for this one because I feel like that was a lot higher in Rogue One.
Yeah. Yeah. He was more shaky in Rogue One. Both physically and vocally. And there's a little less of that. you brought up Andy Serkis, who you forget because he's always the CGI characters, but fuck, Andy Serkis is good.
Yeah.
Like I want him to be more live action roles because he is a delight in this movie and such a fun villain. Uh, and he didn't get a lot to do in Ultron. He gets
Again,
his
it's
arm
one of
cut
those
off, and
things
that's
where it
it.
feels like a lot of, again, I don't like the Marvel thing where it's like we're setting this up for later.
Yeah. Did you realize Andy Serkis is directing the Venom Let There Be Carnage?
That sounds amazing, and I am so hyped for that movie.
Wait, Andy Serkis is Pattinson's Alfred
Is what? Wait, what?
in Robert Pattinson's The Batman. Andy Serkis is Alfred.
What is the casting of that movie?
I am so on board with Andy Serkis as Alfred. I didn't realize that.
I guess
Yeah.
they're really trying to differentiate it from like what Nolan did at this point.
Yeah. I saw a tweet that Robert Pattinson's Batman totally does in reference to the Batman discussion this weekend.
For those unaware, in the show Harley Quinn, the writers tried to write a scene where Batman ate out Catwoman, and then the WB people were like, "Heroes don't do that."
Like, we can have heroes do that.
No, they just said heroes don't do.
You know, Robert Pattinson's Batman does.
But like, also, can you really classify them as a hero? Girls, ladies, this is for you. If your man ain't willing to eat you out, is he really a hero?
I saw a tweet of someone like, it's every actor who played Batman, and then yes or no. Like Keaton's Batman did, Bale's Batman didn't.
Well, like, I feel like you also have to have the dichotomy of like Bruce Wayne or like Batman. Like each actor's renditions of both versions.
Oh, so it's very possible that Bale's Batman doesn't, but Bale's Bruce Wayne does.
Yes, that's what I think.
See that.
That is definitely what
Do we think all the Bruce Waynes do because they have the billionaire?
No, I don't know if that's necessarily true because like, even though I haven't seen it, I don't think the George Clooney Batman or the Bruce Wayne, I don't think the George Clooney Bruce Wayne would be a hero in that regard.
Interesting. What a conversation for the Black Panther episode of this podcast. So as we mentioned, probably 10-time alum of the $1 Billion Movie Club, Andy Serkis. Right.
Well, you know what? Let's tie this back into the movie of this week. Do we think King T'Challa would be a hero in that regard?
T'Challa. I think Killmonger totally.
Oh, definitely.
Did you? I forgot that like there's the woman helping him break out the artifact from the museum, and they fucking jump on each other as soon as they're in the ambulance.
He's a hero.
I think Daniel Kaluuya's Wakabi? No.
Nah.
I think Winston Duke's M'Baku? Yes. But I think
See, the thing is, I'm wondering, like, is King T'Challa in the king category of being a hero, or is he a DJ Khaled type of king?
I think T'Challa, it depends on the partner for T'Challa. I don't think it's as clear as M'Baku and what is Kaluuya's character's name?
But what about Andy Serkis?
Oh, Serkis, yes.
Nice.
I love Daniel Kaluuya. We all do, yes.
Yes.
Great in Get Out, Judas and Black Messiah, Widows, etc. Why is he in this movie?
What do you mean?
I feel like he doesn't have a lot to do. and it's like we don't even really get to develop that relationship between him and Denai Guerra. Um, I,
I
I
mean,
my thing with watching this movie this time is that there's so much. I found that it felt a little rushed.
right, because they set up all these different tribes but don't really flesh them out.
Yeah,
Like they said there was what, 6?
I think 6.
And you don't really only get a sense of 3 of them.
Yeah, because Kalia is a different tribe than yeah. So 3 of them, and even then, like I don't know. I would like a little more time with the relationships developing them. Um, and so yeah, I forget Daniel Kaluuya's in this movie, which is weird because he's one of the great actors we have working today, and he's there to be mad at T'Challa for trying once and it didn't work out. Like, come on, give the
Well,
dude a second chance.
it also feels like he's the one who initially like raises the idea of like interacting with the outside world.
Yeah,
So it plants that seed of him being more favorable to
sure,
Killmonger.
sure, that's fair. I felt like Martin Freeman was an odd addition to this movie. I
I
assume
mean,
it's
you had
just
to have one white person that everyone puts down whenever he shows up, right?
other than that, I assume it's just to have the outsider to show that outsiders could be good and be trusted, right? But I also feel like he was unnecessary.
He definitely felt like a character added in to showcase how, so like for 2 reasons: to showcase how the outside world would interact with all this stuff,
Mm.
and two, so that whenever the main character is speaking and he tries to say something, he's like, you shut up, this isn't about you, so that the people in the audience could be like, damn right.
Also, I'm sure there's just the element of, hey, who else can we throw in here from the MCU? What about this character we all forgot was in Civil War? And then they're like, oh yeah, my old friend. I'm like, you two had 2 lines together in Civil War. What are you
Like,
talking about?
yeah, that's the other thing I don't get about these movies, how they keep mentioning like offhand this like moment, like with Civil War, when Black Widow's like, the least you could do is remember me, to the Winter Soldier during that fight.
I don't even remember that line.
But like it's
In
there,
the
and it's just like,
airplane
what
fight?
are you
Oh, I see, I
talking
see.
about?
The quips. This movie was a little less quippy. I liked that.
Yeah, you did. It definitely felt a lot more character built than just like one lines to like single lines to give you a sense of
Yeah.
relations and all that.
Do we think that's a Russo brother touch?
Yeah, and I don't like it.
Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, Cooley is solid, but I think he doesn't get too much to do. Uh I was big fan of sorry, similar line of Kalia. Angela Bassett doesn't get too much to do, but she's so fucking badass that just put
She
her
was
on
the mom,
screen.
right?
Yeah, just put her on screen and you're good. Like, are you fucking kidding me? She's great. Um, I love Winston Duke in this movie. He's a fun presence.
Was he
Baku.
Mbaku?
Yeah. Uh, total 180 from his role in Us, but also you get
Oh
that
yeah.
you get a kind of a larger than life character from him that he brings so well.
All right.
Uh, what else has he done? I feel we need more Winston Duke in our films or television
We
or
need to
whatever.
talk about Sterling K. Brown. It's
Yes,
nice to see him in something where he could relax a little bit, because like usually in his main show he's a power lifter because he's carrying that entire show.
I gotta say, even if he's not carrying this entire film, holy
Oh no,
fucking
he's
shit!
great, but like it's great that he can relax a little bit and not have to carry the entire.
Was he real? He didn't need to bring that much to his 2 scenes, but thank God he did. Thank God. Sterling K. Brown is, I feel like whenever a new person establishes himself in Hollywood, they're always like 21, 22, and then I hate myself. But he, it,
Well,
with,
the
it
thing is
started off
with
with,
that's more of a thing for women. For men, it is more likely to be
I
gaining
don't know
prominence when you're a little
how
older.
many bland white dudes that are like 20 something do you see
Yeah,
leading
but
Hollywood
how
movies?
quickly do they fade out of
That's a different
relevance?
conversation. That's a different conversation. But Timothy Chalamet and Lucas Hedges are still there.
Yeah, why is Lucas Hedges still?
His dad's an established dude in Hollywood. I don't think Lucas Hedges is incompetent, but I think outside of
I don't know
Manchester,
about that.
Manchester's the only role of Lucas Hedges. I'm like, yeah, you're incredible. But like, I don't love him in Lady Bird. Hate him in mid '90s. I didn't
We
love.
we we
But
saw him
yeah,
on Broadway.
Beautifully Gallery. Anyways, I wanted to talk about Winston Duke. Were we talking about Winston Duke? Right.
We were talking about Sterling K.
Sterling K.
Brown.
Brown. Sterling K. Brown. Motherfucker has such great. He
You
has
know,
such
it's
a
rare
strong
in this day
internal
and
life.
age. It's rare in this day and age for like an actor from a like prime time, like 18 to 22 episode show a season to be nominated for an Emmy. But like, didn't he win like once or twice?
Well, okay, let's break open this Sterling K. Brown. Let's crack open the book, cause holy shit, dude, just kind of a dude. I looked it up. He appeared in stuff, but he wasn't like that big name. And then he does OJ versus the People, American Crime Story, and is spectacular in it. Wins every award, even the Emmy. Next year, he happens to have This Is Us, which becomes the biggest drama on TV, wins another fucking Emmy. And then he does Black Panther. He does fucking Waves. He does a guest star in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, gets nominated for another Emmy. I believe he was nominated when he hosted SNL. He got nominated for when he was in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And I can't
For
even
the
be mad.
season we don't talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. But I can't even be mad because like I have problems with that season. He's great though. He brings such a tangible inner life to the character that you always see it in his eyes.
Like the thing is, I love This Is Us.
Mm.
You know I love This Is Us. The people listening, you might not know that, but I love This Is Us.
Mm.
It wouldn't even be half the show without him. It is.
Nothing would be half the show without him.
Because like damn, like especially this season, the episodes that were real standouts were the ones that were focused on his character.
I feel like that's what people say about every episode of This Is Us.
No, but like there was one episode this season where we don't need to talk about This Is Us.
Can you keep talking? It seems to be getting loud in my house.
Okay, so there's this one episode of This Is Us that happened in the last season where he finally finds out the history of his birth mother, who he never really met or knew about, and like confronting that like realization that he only learned about her after she was gone, and finding out what she left behind for him, just like all that, and the moment of catharsis in that episode, beautiful.
Sterling K. Brown makes everything better. It's really fucking crazy that none of us have decided to just add him to every movie at the end of the podcast each week. Because it would. It'd make it so much better. Was that our Sterling K. Brown hour?
Appreciation minute, yes.
Yeah. I think we have our rankings of the movies at the end, and we talk about we need to have a Hall of Fame for the $1 Billion Movie Club's favorite actors, right? Obviously, first inductee, Mads Mikkelsen.
Hell yes.
Second inductee, Sterling K. Brown.
Who would our third be?
We'll discover it. Because there's a lot of incredible actors we've talked about it during this podcast, and but very few get us excited like a Mads Mikkelsen, a Sterling K. Brown.
Right.
May I toss in Laurie Metcalf or John Goodman? Those are two of my favorites, but we're not going to talk about them on any of these podcasts.
Actually, John Goodman was in Toy Story 3, wasn't he?
Laurie Metcalf was in Toy Story. She's in the Toy Stories. I think John Goodman it might do a voice in the Transformers as I say it.
Like, wasn't he the bear in 3?
No, that was Ned Beatty, R.A.P.
Hmm.
He's in the Monster Incs.
Oh yeah. Big fluffy one.
Yes, the big fluffy one. He's the one that Agnes is talking about in Despicable Me when she talks about stuff being fluffy. It's not the unicorn, it's a crossover with uh Monsters Inc.
One thing, there were moments where this did feel like a Black James Bond movie. Like,
Ooh.
especially with just specifically that segment of like from going from the lab to the casino scene. Like that
Yeah.
entire segment felt like a like first act confrontation in a James Bond movie. You know what I mean?
There well there's levels of tension created by the secrecy
There's also
and
like
trying to be hidden.
the like build up and payoff of all the individual weapons or whatever that they set up in the lab.
Sure. Sure. So that's yeah. Is this the Black James Bond or is James Bond the white Black Panther?
I mean, Black Panther came out what 3 years ago, and James Bond's been kicking
When
it
did the
for.
comics when did the comics start? When did the comics start? Hold up, I'm looking this up. Black Panther based on the comic of the same name, character of the same name. Ooh, I got a thing. Okay, I'll look at that later. Comic started 1966.
Yeah, Doctor No came out in like 62 or 64.
Hold on, I'm looking up James Bond. James Jimothy Bond.
Like the first Bond
1953.
movie
Damn it,
came out before
53.
that.
53.
Let
Right.
alone the first Bond book.
Damn. Anyways, just because we're rounding out the cast and we were almost there, Letitia Wright.
What else has she been in?
She may have said some problematic things last year, but she's I want to say she's in an episode of Black Mirror. Yes, because I'm pretty sure she was nominated for an Emmy for that. She's in
Which season was that from? Because like, I'll be honest, Black Mirror, it really went downhill once Netflix took over.
It is a Netflix season 4, sixth.
Yeah,
and
I didn't
final
see
episode,
that.
season 4. I haven't gone to Black Mirror. She's in Ready Player One. What the fuck?
Like for me, Black Mirror, it's good up until after the Christmas special. Because then it gets a little too obvious in its messaging and all that, and just also becomes too blunt.
But Pawan, the interactive episode.
I haven't even seen it because I just,
I
the funny thing is I haven't played any of the Netflix games yet. Any of them.
Come on. Minecraft story mode?
I didn't even finish
even
Kimmy
I've
Schmidt.
done one. I was saying I did the Kimmy Schmidt one.
No, I didn't even finish the last season of Kimmy Schmidt, I think.
Oh.
So like I didn't do the Kimmy Schmidt one either.
Anyways, Letitia Wright, I'm looking at her filmography. She's building up filmography. The Commuter with Liam Neeson. Guava Island, which is the Gambino Amazon short movie, I think.
I love how, just side tangent, completely going off. I love how Liam Neeson is doing the same shit that Tom Cruise is doing, but just like on a slightly lesser extent.
Fine.
Because they both cut their teeth on like some heavy dramas and stuff like that. And then at this point, they're just like, I'm just going to do action movies. And then Tom Cruise is like, I'm going to do crazy stunts with my action movies. And then Liam Neeson's like, I'm going to take 14 cuts to climb over a fence.
As someone who just watched Hobbs and Shaw for the first time this week, Tom Cruise and Liam Neeson are doing the same thing that Jason Statham, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and yes, supporting actor in Hobbs and Shaw, Ryan Reynolds, do with every movie.
Well, no, I feel like Liam Neeson's a little bit worse because, like, I showed you that one scene from Taken 3, right? Where he climbs the ladder. I mean, no, the fence.
Yeah, I think you've seen it. I've seen it.
And it's like 14 cuts in 7 seconds.
So Letitia Wright also this year had Small Axe, the Steve McQueen
I've been meaning to watch
miniseries.
that.
And then she's in a movie, very big movie, been pushed for a while, and is in quite an interesting spot. Kenneth Branagh's Death on the Nile, sequel to Murder on the Orient Express. Her co-stars include internet favorites. Let's call them internet favorites: Armie Hammer and Gal Gadot.
Very much beloved by the internet.
I didn't say beloved, but they're favorites to be mentioned on the internet for reasons.
Oh wait, that movie's not coming out. There's no way it's coming out at this point. Armie Hammer, get out of here.
It was supposed to come out last year.
Wait,
currently set to 2022.
Who was the guy who played the detective in Murder on the Orient Express?
Branagh played the detective.
Yes.
Remember, the first one came out amid the Johnny Depp stuff happening. Johnny Depp was also in that movie. So,
right.
Who knows what Branagh does?
Damn, he keeps getting cursed by this shit.
He does. And the first Murder on the Orient Express, not bad. Enjoyable.
I mean, he really tried to make the detective a superhero, and like he built a franchise. There's a second one coming.
Denai Guerrera, I was a big fan of Walking Dead in its heyday. She was great as Michonne. She's awesome as Okoye, who, again, doesn't get too much stuff to do, but what she gets, she brings a wonderful.
I love that play she wrote in her
Eclipse
days at NYU. It was like Into the Continuum or something like that.
Oh, you're not talking about. Oh, okay, you're talking about a different one. Interesting.
Yeah.
In the Continuum, yeah.
Yeah, that was a solid one.
She's wonderful. Have we talked about Lupita yet?
I mean, she's classic.
I feel like around this era in 2018, I was like, "Come on, Hollywood, why aren't we giving Lupita stuff to do?" But this is like the third movie we're talking about with her in it.
So there was this, Us, and what else?
Well, not even Us, because Us comes after, but like the 2 Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
And then she was also in Jungle Book, which is one of those movies that's like almost in the club, but isn't. Like, she was getting paid.
Yeah, it was one of the actually more respected Disney remakes.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we love Lupita. And then I think the 2 actors you leave this movie talking about are Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan. Right?
Yo, Michael B. Jordan is just on his game.
Michael,
like him and Ryan Coogler, just like they were on a run.
I get so excited with like those pairings because everyone talks about like Scorsese and De Niro and all those stuff, but I feel like we as younger moviegoers now, we get to see the birth of like a Ryan Coogler with Michael B. Jordan, because 3 movies, all great.
But like it was crazy how the second one worked. Like it's crazy how Creed worked. That's all I gotta say. It's crazy how Creed worked.
A part of me wanted to rewatch all of Ryan Coogler's movies in preparation for Black Panther.
I don't think you could rewatch Fruitvale Station.
I can't rewatch Fruitvale Station. I'm not ready for that. I watched it like 2-3 years ago. I can't go back right now. It's so much. But man knows how to direct the movie, and Michael B. Jordan knows how to star in a movie. Because even though he's not the main person for the first time in a Coogler movie, he steals the show.
I'm trying to think, what else was he in outside of stuff with Coogler?
When I think of this movie, I think of that moment. I remember being in theater when Shuri and Lupita, I can't think of Lupita's name right now, when they're about to attack Killmonger, and he gives him this look.
Oh yeah, he was also in Chronicle.
Oh, do we talk about Chronicle?
The one that didn't have a writer.
Okay, sure.
Who had a director that people were so excited about. He's like, yo, this is the next superhero director. And the next movie he made was Fantastic.
Hey, Michael B. Jordan also had it, was like, hey, let me work with you again, Josh Trank. But yeah, I remember I remember the fire in his eyes, and there's such fire throughout this entire film within him. he is the what is it, the something in the cog in the wheel, what's that expression?
In what? I
Like
don't
the
know what you're
cog in
saying.
the wheel, is that a thing? That
The
didn't make
cog in a
sense.
machine?
Something like that. Oh, what I'm trying to say, he's supposed to disrupt this movie, right? And he
That's
is
not what
so
a
good at
cog
doing it.
does.
I realized I don't know the phrase, so I wanted to just move on past it.
Like that's
But
the
yeah,
opposite of what a cog does.
I remember Oscar season, this movie coming up, and people are like, I think Michael B. Jordan has a shot. And goddamn, I wish he got in over some of the people who did get in.
I remember when this movie came out, where I was in that mentality of thinking, like, this is another in a long line of Disney villains who have a point, but because they're portrayed as the villain, they're just like, no, you're wrong.
Mm.
So like the interesting ideas are coming from the villains. But like what I will say about this one is that King T'Challa actually listened and was like, you know what, maybe he was right about some things.
Yeah. No, again, this film is about finding the balance to move forward and forge a new path, right? And you have these two extremists. You have the traditionalist of the older generation with T'Challa, and then you have Killmonger being like, "Hey, burn down these plants that bring kings back to life." I'm still uncertain about what that was, but like T'Challa realizes that no one's absolutely correct, no one's absolutely wrong. There is a blend that you must find, and
You
that's
you
what
want to
this
know
movie
what I
does really
find
well.
interesting through all this
What?
is that this is the first movie in this franchise where the audience was like, you know what, maybe the villain has a point or something, which then brings us to Infinity War.
Well, I will say we'll get into Infinity War next week. I need to rewatch it before we talk it, but I will say, um, Marvel villains fucking suck. We all know this.
Well, it's
This is
I'm
one of
not
what
just talking about
three that's
like
not bad.
yeah, but like Disney
We
and
will
like
get
the
we
big
will get into
properties overall.
we will get into Infinity War next week.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like even movies like take the Godzilla King of the Monsters where
Yes,
they
great Disney movie.
no, it's just like really big Hollywood tentpoles where like the main character has a point in like environmentalism and shit like that. But because it's made by these big corporations that are like, now we don't want people being too radical, they portray that as like, oh, she cares about the environment, but she wants to kill all humans to protect the environment. That's the take if you're an environmentalist. So you probably don't want to be that.
Interesting. I haven't seen the movie. Are you talking about Godzilla 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I love the action in that movie and how stupid it is, but man, the messaging of that movie is so terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. But I digress.
Did you know Michael B. Jordan was in All My Children?
I know he was in the first season of The Wire.
Yeah, he did The Wire and then All My Children. And then Friday Night Lights.
He did an episode of Burn Notice.
He's in Gears of War 3? What the heck?
Yeah, that sounds about right. That was the era where they were starting to get big name people to do the voices for the characters for video games.
But yeah, Michael B. Jordan, always terrific. And then Chadwick Boseman.
I will say I don't think
I
don't think I've seen anything of his from before this movie.
Civil War.
Huh?
Civil War.
Well, yeah,
No, I
but
get
I
what you're
mean,
saying.
like,
I get what you're saying. I feel like most people probably didn't, because it was like 42 and Marshall and all the biopics that everyone's like, oh, it's a biopic. I don't have to watch this. You get it.
I mean, yeah, like most biopics are kind of safe and like they are vehicles to drive the actors' performances mostly.
I don't know.
But
I
like,
felt
damn,
this because we're both big Ma Rainey fans, right?
yeah, to go like from the films of his I have seen, he went off. He didn't need to go off that hard. Well, at
Have you seen
least,
The Five Bloods yet?
I mean, okay, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It's August Wilson. It's asking you to
Wait,
go off, but
may I
like,
ask?
uh-huh.
Have you only seen the Black Panther movies and Ma Rainey?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to
But
make sure.
like, Marvel, they're not really asking you to go off like that, but he did.
Yeah. He's
And like
terrific.
the thing is, what I like is that he's selling jokes with just this like extreme deadpanness, like early on, where it's just like, I never flint, I never freeze. And then it's just like, you froze. He's like, damn, you right.
Yeah, but that's really in the character dynamics more so than the writing. Marvel movies, as we mentioned, they when they go into a formula, it turns into just quippiness. But that's not relying on the quippiness.
Yeah, this movie didn't
of the
have
snark.
quippiness,
There's
which is
no
what I
snark
really
to it.
liked. Yeah.
Except maybe Michael B. Jordan. There's a little snark to him, but it's understandable because he wants to destroy everything because he's so in so much pain. But there's a moment watching it this time where I want to say it's during his fight with M'Baku, and I thought I wrote down the line he said, but I can't find it. It's either in his fight with M'Baku or his fight with Michael B. Jordan in the water. He says this line, and I just think, damn, he had it. And it's he was just getting started. That's the crazy fucking thing.
Yeah.
You have this great actor just getting started, and the world just takes it, and it hurts for many reasons. And I don't know. It sucks, and it gets me sad when I watch movies that he's in, because I feel it during this. I feel it during Ma Rainey. I haven't rewatched The Five Bloods, but that takes on a new layer, because if you haven't seen The Five Bloods, it's these four war vets
That's
go to
Spike Lee too, right?
yes, two. Or
Like,
yeah, it's Spike Lee.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Five Bloods is about these four war vets. Their one friend died back in Vietnam, so they're going to try to retrieve the body. That friend that died back in Vietnam was Chadwick Boseman, and so there's an element of an added layer of morose, bittersweetness when he plays this already dead character, and it fucking sucks. But he's great. He's great in this film, man.
another thing we got to talk about are the songs.
The songs. I didn't realize there were so many original songs in this.
Oh yeah, this, I don't know what it is, but like, it feels like when there's whenever there's like a superhero movie featuring like a black main character, the soundtrack just goes off.
Well, isn't it? We were
Like
talking
there's
about how
this
like
and Spider-Verse, like both soundtracks go off.
yeah, we talked about how like all the A-list actors want to be part of this momentous occasion. That like, of course, you're gonna want to be part of this incredible moment.
But
It's
like,
not like it's a risk. It's the MCU, and so
but the one thing that was a little bit jarring was like when they pulled into they went to Seoul for the South Korea for
yeah,
the
I believe
Korea
it's
thing,
so.
yeah. And like the musical cue they start out with is Hangover or Hungover by Psy. Like I saw that in the subtitles,
It was like
and I was like,
Psy featuring.
that's
No, it
the
was Psy
K-pop
featuring
song you
someone.
choose.
It was Psy featuring a black musician. I'm.
But like,
I forgot who.
really, like in 2018, the K-pop person you go to is Psy.
But hold on, let's see who the person was. Maybe that's why they picked it, not because of Psy.
Because like BTS was already blowing shit up at this point.
I can't find a track listing. How is there not a track listing for the soundtrack on Wikipedia? Oh my god!
I think Hangover was the second song. Oh, featuring Snoop Dogg. Yeah,
There you
this
go.
was the song he released after Gangnam Style. Like this was his second like semi hit.
No, because it was Gentleman, wasn't it?
Oh
Remember that
right,
one?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was two. So this was his third song. Wow.
Damn, Snoop Dogg really shows up on anything.
We've hold up. Okay, I'm gonna suggest this. Tell me if you want to or not. I'm gonna say let's induct Snoop Dogg in the Billion Dollar Movie Club actor Hall of Fame. Snoop Dogg's fucking awesome.
Like,
Do you
you
agree
real.
or no? Do you agree or no?
I mean, he's great, but man, he will show up for any paycheck.
And good for him that he can get it. All right.
Like, yo, he showed up on the Corey Feldman album.
Hold on, I'm not gonna drop this until you tell me if you agree or not. Snoop Dogg, star of The Beach Bum, Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping, Pitch Perfect 2,
Yeah, but
Scary
what
Movie 5,
movies in this
Racing
list?
Stripes,
What movies in the $1 billion list has he been in?
Black Panther.
I mean, that doesn't count because it wasn't even his verse that played.
Wait, I'm on his filmography page, and it says there are 2 pornographic movies.
Oh yeah, he did soundtracks for pornos at some point.
He's the executive producer of them. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Again,
This has been a wild episode.
Snoop Dogg, anything for a page.
This has been a wild episode. We celebrated Sterling K. Brown, Chadwick Boseman. We discussed Snoop Dogg doing pornography and whether or not Batman went down on women. What an episode.
Yeah. You know what the final fight reminded me of though?
What? Which you
Like,
mean the
with the
chain
train
fight?
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of Star Wars Episode 1. The
Go on.
final fight
Go
with
on.
Darth Maul,
How?
where there's those pauses because there's that barrier in between them.
Okay.
Like it had that moment of like tension building where they're just like staring at each other. Though you didn't get the
see.
close-ups in this one. That was a bit of a missed opportunity in my
No, but the
opinion.
close up would have been a CGI face.
No, because that would have been while the train was there, so it would have
Oh, I
been
see,
the
I see.
face.
I wanted to bring up. Do you have anything else you have about that final fight?
I'll come back to it when we go to a different segment.
So we discussed the fact that when you do an MCU movie, you're doing an MCU movie, and I feel like especially early on, it was tough for directors to bring their own style to
Right,
the
yeah.
formula, right? And so Coogler, this is probably my least favorite of the movies he's directed, just by sheer fact of I don't think he gets to do a lot.
It also feels like maybe he wasn't that in charge of the fight scenes. Like I think I heard somewhere that like most of the fights in Marvel movies are done by a B team.
I question how much a director is involved in fight scenes just because of choreography and whatnot. And so much of that is editing nowadays. I will say there are 3 moments I fucking love that Coogler pulls off in this movie that I want to shout out. The first 2, I think, are the 2 everyone talks about. There's the scene.
What are the?
Hold on, 2. Actually, so it starts off with them burning the flowers that they give the kings, and there's this incredible shot of.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of just like individual. You know what the Marvel movies are really good at, which I'll give them credit for, filming people standing. Like
because it's all green screen, so it's just them standing.
Like it's like, what's the most iconic shot from the Avengers movie? It's literally just the camera rotating around all the train as they're just standing in a circle.
Sure. But first off, shout outs to Rachel Morrison. She's the DP of this movie, the cinematographer. I didn't realize she's worked with Coogler twice on Fruitvale Station and Black Panther. She is arguably one of the most important cinematography we have right now, as she is the very first woman ever nominated for an Oscar for cinematography for Mudbound. You ever watch
Hmm.
Mudbound?
That's Mikunuhu, right?
What's a Mikunuhu? I don't even know what
Mikunuhu.
that. You're thinking of Mud.
Yeah.
Mud's the like 23rd. Mudbound is Carey Mulligan,
Oh, then
Jason Clark,
I
Jason
don't know what that is.
Mitchell, Mary J. Blige. Great movie on Netflix. But Morrison's terrific DP. She captured that incredible shot of B. Jordan standing in the aftermath of everything being burnt down,
Hmm.
and then sudden cut to the 180 camera turn that
Oh
I feel
yeah,
like people
yeah.
always put out.
Again, of a person just walking.
But it's so fucking badass. As everything's being shifted and tossed around, you get this entire turn as he walks onto the throne and takes
Yo,
his
as the
place.
entire country is going topsy turvy, the camera is going topsy turvy.
It's a fucking awesome shot. I'm sorry. And then the other shot everyone talks about is B. Jordan's death scene. Question: can we refer to him as just Jordan or B. Jordan? Do we always have to say B. Jordan? Because I'll
See, it's
call him.
weird because like B Jordan, that leaves you with the idea that there might be an A Jordan.
Wow. But like, I'll call Chadwick Boseman if I'm talking about him. Do I call
Like,
Michael B. Jordan Jordan or B. Jordan?
I don't know. B, isn't that his middle name?
It is.
And isn't that like something he had to put so that doesn't like SAG after have that rule that you have to have like a unique name?
I'm sure it's not even just SAG. Like the dude's gonna go around trying to be Michael Jordan and then be compared to Michael Jordan all the time. I seriously think the B and the B Jordan helps make him distinct and
Okay,
people
that
remember
makes
that
sense.
he's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Anyways, B Jordan's death scene, and it's a
Oh, I
beautiful
guess
shot.
the NBA player, that's the Michael A. Jordan.
Michael A. Jordan, more like Michael Lame Jordan. You know what I'm
Or
saying?
like Michael no middle initial needed Jordan. Oh.
Damn. Question. All right, because I actually have no real strong feelings about Michael Jordan. Who's the more important figure in cinema? Incredible acclaimed actor Michael B. Jordan, or
Was
star
Michael?
of Space Jam
Yeah, that's what
Michael
I was about
Jordan?
to say. I
Who's the
mean,
important
like,
figure in cinema?
I mean, you gotta respect Michael Jordan for introducing us to the character of Lola Bunny.
Pawan, are you fucking kidding me? Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh, I have it
Have you
on
seen that
VHS.
movie? Michael Jordan doesn't introduce us to Lola Bunny. She walks into that basketball court. I would say auditorium or stadium. I'm like, that's not right term. She
Yeah,
walks in that basketball court
that
and
Space Jam.
introduces.
What was it about? Was it about opera singing? Was it about golf? I don't even know.
I will say, they have clips of Lola Bunny talking in the new Space Jam. And I love Zendaya. Something about that feels wrong. It doesn't
Yeah,
feel
why
right.
isn't she sexualized?
That's not what I'm saying. Are you saying that Zendaya herself is not sexualized? Is she herself not
No,
enough
I'm
of a
talking
sexual
about
being?
Lola Bunny.
I was talking about the voice, not the animation.
The thing is, like in the original movie, they they were like, oh, she's the lady bunny, she's hot. Where's
What?
that aspect of her character?
You know what's gonna happen. How did we get? Oh yeah, Michael B. Jordan's death scene. It's a beautiful shot of the sun setting down on the city of Wakanda. Country of Wakanda, country of Wakanda. I don't know why I said city. I also side note, I really like the entry into Wakanda as Bozeman is flying the space
Yeah.
vehicle into it, and it's a really nice glory shot. The other shot I really fucking loved is when Michael B. Jordan puts on the mask that he steals from the museum.
And then he blows up the thing.
Yeah. Well, so as he puts on the mask, Coogler does this thing that I never really noticed a director do it until rewatching Moonlight, and I'm like, oh, Barry Jenkins does this all the time, whereas this is just this head-on close-up. I guess Wes Anderson does it a bit too, but it feels a little more stylized. It's just a close-up of a character being in that moment. And as quick as that moment was of B. Jordan in the mask, oh, that hit me. That hit.
Speaking of Barry Jenkins, have you seen his miniseries yet?
I have not seen Underground Railroad yet because it's gonna be a lot.
I've heard it's amazing.
It's gonna be a lot. Oh God, I'm ready, but not ready. I have three big miniseries I want to catch up on before the Emmys. It's Small Axe, Underground Railroad, and Mayor of Easttown, and all of them are gonna be a lot.
I mean, one of them crashed HBO Max, something that Kong nor Godzilla can claim they've done.
Nor Mortal or Combat, nor the Snyder Cut. Which is why I think it's time for us to induct Kate Winslet into the $1 Billion Movie Club Hall of Fame. Star of Titanic.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome, cool. So we have 3 names. 3 names on the list.
Like, you know, with HBO, it's just something about these like dysfunctional like women as lead stars in these TV shows makes everyone go crazy.
Mayor of Easttown, Sharp Objects, Big Little Eyes. They're doing it.
Just goes off.
It does go off. I feel like we've talked a lot, but there's so much more. Again, there's so much to this movie. I briefly mentioned Ruthie Carter won the Oscar for this, but holy fuck, the costumes are incredible in this. Not just the more can I say tribal elements of them in the Wakandan clothing, but even like when Denai and Lupita are in Seoul and they're fucking rocking those dresses. And Ruthie Carter is genius with the colors and just the
also the costume when we're introduced to Killmonger in the museum.
Yeah,
it was a really nice mix of like kind of street urbanish and like still like really cool looking.
Yeah,
like that intro shot from behind. It's like you could tell his pants were sagging.
Oh fuck, we haven't even talked about that scene. That scene's incredible because it starts off with like it kind of like a Nolan Hans Zimmer-esque kind of
well,
not the ball, but it's like the kind of like a timer or a countdown to the music, but then it turns into this beat from Granson's incredible score, and the way it just kicks in as Circus enters the scene. That scene's incredible.
Yeah, and just like in terms of theming what that scene does, really solid stuff.
Really solid stuff. I don't even know. There's so much to talk about. T'Challa and Shuri have such a wonderful relationship, and I love they bust each other's balls and they'll tease each other, but also there's like when they greet each other,
like,
they have their own personalized handshake.
But there's like genuine heart behind it and stuff like that. It's again going back to this thing. It's not just quips.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I will say I brought up I don't love the Denai Kalia relationship. I don't think that's fleshed out very well, and I think the Lupita Chadwick one is a little too surface level for me. They have nice chemistry, but they don't build off it in the way that I think, say, Downey Jr. and Paltrow do in the Iron Men.
You know, it's funny because like it's funny you bring up that comparison because with that final scene, it really feels like it's setting up T'Challa as like the next Iron Man.
Well, they were setting up so much. Lupita's not in the Avenger movies, right?
I
know.
Wait, she's who again?
Lupita's the love interest. I know Denai shows up as Okoye, and Okoye survives the snap.
And Shuri's also there. And
Shuri pops up at least in the end when they all come out of the portals.
Yeah.
Is Angela Bassett in those movies?
I don't think so.
Damn. What a shame. I got an idea for when we get to Endgame. I got an idea.
Another thing I liked was I I don't know if I like the execution as much, but I liked the idea of like the suit being in the teeth of the necklace.
Yeah. I think that gives a good explanation of the instantaneous suit turning on.
And again, it's another like parallel with Iron Man, but like a better version.
I guess, yeah. Better version.
I mean, I definitely like this more than Iron Man 1 and 2. I'll say
I haven't seen 1 or 2 in a while. 3, who knows what you think about 3? We'll get into how it compares to 3 later, I'm sure, somehow.
Oh yeah, because 3 did make $1 billion.
3's on the list. So it's a question of, is Black Panther scientifically better or not?
It's crazy that made $1 billion, yet the Marvel Studios like to treat it like it doesn't exist.
Is it? But also, like, they got Downey so sparingly after that. What were they gonna do with it?
No, but like the fact that they kept getting Downey was how they had. I've already gone on about this before.
We'll get to it because we have 2 more of those movies to talk about.
3.
2.
I mean, he's not in it, but he's definitely a huge factor of it.
The second Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah,
I think that's all my.
Am I missing any scenes from this movie?
Shoutouts to, I really liked Coogler's tribe. They have like the cape. Is it a cape?
Yeah.
And they pull it up and it turns into a shield.
Again, I do like the different versions of technology they had in this. Yeah. Like, I mean, the powers were more or less the same, but you did get different types of fighting with like the shields and like people using spears and stuff like that. That's what I want more of from these superhero movies, like more different styles of fighting.
Yeah, we mentioned it last week with the throne room scene. You get more variations to the choreography, and you're able to flourish a lot more. That's why I think the fight scene doesn't work at the very end. Like, it turns into who's the stronger one between Boseman and B. Jordan, because they have the same exact powers.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people hate the rhinos. I enjoyed the rhinos. They're fine.
People hated the rhinos?
I don't, maybe part of the CGI complaints people have, but I feel like people usually hate the rhinos of this movie. They're solid. They're fun.
You know, I
like when the knife stops the rhino and licks
what
her.
you just brought back in my mind.
What?
Remember Avatar?
What about Avatar?
How during that last fight, like halfway through the fight, the
are there
creatures?
Rhinos?
There's not rhinos, but like there was like the panther type animals and stuff like that came in to help towards the end of the fight. The animals from Pandora helped at the end of that fight.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh my God.
I don't remember this at all. Maybe I'll find out when I play the video game. I was going to say the title of the video
Brought to you by Ubisoft.
No. I'm shocked you said that and I said no. I feel like usually is a reverse of that. I that's all I got. There's a whole lot to this movie, and there's a whole lot we're missing, a whole lot we will never understand as we don't have that experience.
Yeah, listen.
Fuck, this is a great movie.
I understand. This is a weird to say after listening to us for like an hour and a half, but like you should not be coming to us for the review on Black Panther as your primary source. No.
I did really like re-examining this movie with a different lens, and I found that bringing up Crazy Rich Asians again, one of the things I loved about that movie was that it challenges that there is a difference between Asian and Asian American, right?
Right.
And I think In the Heights did that with being Latinx or Latine, whatever term, and Latina American. And this movie reckons with the difference between being African and Black, right?
Yeah.
That's the B. Jordan element.
Yeah.
And fuck, that's such a a concept to challenge within a Marvel movie.
Well, also, it feels like so with an idea like Wakanda
Yeah.
existing, this country that's overly like technologically advanced beyond everything else. Um, it makes sense from like a story building perspective why you wouldn't want it to be just a part of the outside world overall, just as it exists, because that would influence the overall world too much to the point where you really need to get into the world building of that to differentiate it from our world. But when you do something like that, it raises the question of like, well, if they're that great, why aren't they helping anyone else get to that level?
Yeah.
And like, it feels like this film really tackled that well.
I think it calls in question, and maybe I'm overstepping, but it calls in question uh what a black person in power does, and how you can have privilege even if you didn't start off with privilege, right? Am I overstepping my analysis?
I don't know where you're going with that.
I don't know, just the fact that the Wakandans are so reluctant to try to help anyone else because they're so worried about losing what they have that they aren't reaching their hand out. And I think it's interesting you get that, and then you get um, uh, director Ryan Coogler. He said the second one won't have any scenes shot in Atlanta, Georgia, because of all the. Or did he say? I think I'm getting mixed up with something else. I'll take that back. I think I'm mixing that with something else. But I don't know. I thought that was an interesting thing.
Oh wait,
And
he's
maybe I
still
didn't
directing the
articulate.
sequel?
He's doing the sequel.
Hmm.
He's writing and directing the sequel. I don't know if so. This one was directed by Ryan Coogler, written by Ryan Coogler and Joe Robert Cole. You familiar with Joe Robert Cole?
I might not be. I might be. You name some things he's done, and I'll
Uh,
probably tell you.
he directed and wrote a film called All Day and a Night, starring
Don't
Jeffrey
know that
Wright and
one.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. It was a Netflix film last year. He wrote. He was a co-producer, and he wrote 2 episodes of OJ versus the People. So not the largest filmography, but he delivers when it comes up to bat. And yeah, Coogler's doing Black Panther and Black Panther 2. Do we even want to question how Black Panther 2 will happen, or just let that sit there?
Well, I've heard that they're not going to replace T'Challa or anything like that.
Yeah, which I like, but part of me feels like it would be better for this movie just to be there and that no sequel ever. But you know it's not going to happen.
I mean, I think I heard this might have just been like fan speculation or something that it was going to be more like Tales from Bossing Say type of thing.
Oh,
You remember?
episodic?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they're also doing a spin-off show.
Hmm.
The only person confirmed seems to be Denai Guerrera's Okoye. Said to be an origin spin-off for the character. So maybe that's what that is. But
You know
all
what I really liked about this movie?
Hmm.
There was no like loose ends in a sense that are like setting up future moments until like the very, very, very end with that
Oh,
second.
you mean one of the worst post-credit scenes ever in a Marvel movie?
Yeah.
I don't care about Bucky. I rewatched the entire Captain America trilogy. I don't fucking care about Bucky.
You know, rewatching that scene right now is like, oh yeah, this is why the final episodes of the Marvel miniseries have been shit. It's because half of the final episodes of the 2 ones that have been done so far was filled with shit like this.
I don't think the ending of WandaVision was shit. Maybe I think the final episode doesn't hit perfectly, but there's so much good in that final episode, the final few episodes about Wanda and her history.
Yeah, but the final episode itself, the second half, just like falls down that pit of like universe building and be like, oh, this is being set up for later, and that's being set up for later, and that's being set up for later.
WandaVision, you're saying? I haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier yet, so I can't comment on
Oh,
that.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was terrible with it. Like it literally finishes the story of its show with like 10 minutes to go.
I will say Falcon and Winter Soldier is continuing as a show. WandaVision was a one season miniseries, so I don't know. But yeah, I don't like the post credit scene in this, and I wish it was something different. Maybe it will be.
I mean, for me, it just feels like, you know what? Maybe you just can go a movie without having 2 post credits.
Yeah, it didn't need to. I did like the end of like, who are you? And you know he's totally gonna do the I am Black Panther moment, like the I am Iron Man moment, but he doesn't, and I like that. I like that. All right, I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's about it for our analysis and discussion of Ryan Coogler's Black Panther, the 33rd film in the $1 billion movie club. And Pawan, I'm gonna take a second to try to fix my laptop because I feel like it's wigging out right now. So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Oh God, why'd you have to slam me down like that, Miss Simpson? What the hell?
Are you good?
Yo, Miss Simpson, why'd you have to slam my face on the ground like that?
It's Pawan, I'm angry, all right? Pawan, I'm angry because it occurred to me that no movie is perfect.
Wait, what?
Pawan, no movie is perfect.
The fuck did you just say to me?
Somehow this movie isn't perfect.
You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
You know, Pawan, if there's something that we don't like about the world, we gotta make a change. We gotta make the change ourselves. All right, Pawan. So let's see how we will improve this movie.
Okay.
Are you starting off? Am I starting?
I'll go first this week. All right. So we talked about how this movie's got a great score, has like different types of like rap music in it. Like it's got the soulful R&B jam with SZA at the end.
Sure.
And it's got the like more club ready song with The Weeknd.
I like you say with Psy.
And then you got some like hype anthems in the middle. But you know what it was missing? A battle rap.
Whoa.
So like there just needed to be some song at some point, maybe during the credits, where it's just like from the perspective of Black Panther being like, yo, all you other superheroes, you ain't shit. Captain America, you ain't shit. And just like rattling down the list and just like attacking them one by one. It's like, who gonna come for me? Who gonna come for me? You can't come for me.
Wow. That's great.
You know, maybe that could have been the second post-credit scene. Just like him at the Avengers Tower, just be like, yo, guys, I got a new song. Let me know what's just
wait, so T'Challa has the song?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
And he's playing that to the Avengers and like seeing their faces while he's talking shit about them on his track.
All right. Next up.
My main fix. We talked about how the CGI in this movie, the fights, not necessarily the best in the series. Like it felt a little staged, a little fake.
Sure.
And like almost like when they put on the costumes, it was divorced from the rest of the story.
All right.
And complete tangent side note. We got some non-black villains in this one, right? We got like Andy Serkis as the side villain. But like, you know what? Where's the women representation as villains? Come on, we need some women who could be villains in this movie.
Are you adding a female villain?
Yeah. So we're gonna have a woman, and you know what? Why does she have to be white? Let's give her the name Rita. Let's call her Rita.
Who's playing Rita? I'm throwing you on the spot. Who's playing Rita?
Damn it! I'm gonna take back the white thing then. Elizabeth Banks.
What? Hold up. Doesn't Elizabeth Banks play a person named Rita in the Power Rangers movies?
God damn it! You ruined my surprise.
Oh my god! I apologize. Go on. Go on. Well, she's not white in that movie. She's an alien. Go on.
So like I was about to say, like, you know what, instead of rhinos, why don't we have like huge monsters? And like we saw the cities in this movie at Wakanda, but we don't really get to experience them. Like we're not never in the cities. They're always like backdrops. So like maybe there's a scene or something during the final fight where because like okay, classic Power Ranger thing. The fight choreography, you could tell it looks staged as fuck. Same as this movie. And like the costumes, it's like a completely different thing. So let's just make this a Power Rangers final fight where like the rhinos are just huge and like stampede all over the city. And T'Challa's gotta be in a huge Black Panther suit to fight him off. And then Killmonger goes in his own black huge Black Panther suit to fight him over the
So
city.
is everyone teaming up to be like a giant Black Panther? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I will say, and we completely ignore the fact that, you know, T'Challa dies in this movie and is brought back. This movie is weirdly more ensemble heavy than I think one would expect going into a Marvel solo movie. And so your ending of the Power Rangers ending of them teaming up to fight Killmonger fits perfectly.
Yeah,
Well done.
that's it. Yeah.
Well done.
So like,
Pawan.
you know what? Actually, so Andy Serkis, his character who is now Rita Repulsa, is gone halfway through the movie. So what if like
Wait, so you took Circus out of the movie?
yeah, it's now Rita.
May I ask, what if they're just a duo, like a Jesse James from Pokemon thing?
Well, I was about to say like there's that scene where like Killmonger brings the dead character, and it's like, you know what, we could have all the liberal SJWs being like, you're killing off the women, but no, we're flipping the script because halfway through the fight, she's the one who shows up in the big mech, and that's why they got to team up while Killmonger's already halfway dead.
Wow.
To like fight against that big her big monster that she makes. Yeah. So that we don't end this movie with black infighting. That's not what we need.
That is a complaint I've heard about this movie. So wow. You solved racism? Did you solve racism there? Well done. Well done. A round of applause for Pawan. Please, if you're on the train listening to this, just start clapping and let people stare at you. I'm like, oh, I just heard a great end to racism.
Yeah, just start cheering out loud, going, whoa, whoa, in the train, and everyone will join you because they'll just know. They'll just know.
Now, Pawan, I've got some fixes.
I've explained my half.
Yes.
Why don't you explain how you make this thing like top of the line, A+++ material?
I will say my fix is not intended to fix racism. You know, that's a big daunting task. But if everyone loves it so much that they unite and then decide to just ignore their differences, I would be up for that. First off, car chase in Seoul, right? They're shooting at Lupita and Denai, and Denai is like, "Oh, guns, how primitive." Yes. And then, you know, what are you gonna do in a car chase? So what happens is Claw car hits the
Claw
nos.
car.
The Claw car hits the nos, and then Denai says to Lupita, "Oh, Nas, how primitive." And then they turn on some Wakandan version of Nas and fucking goes after them.
I got something to add real quick.
Go on.
So you're saying like Claw turns on his Nas.
Yes.
So then to combat Claw's Nas, what Denai has to do is turn on the Jay-Z.
Wow. This is why we workshop stuff. All right. Okoye turns on the Jay-Z and goes after Nas. This is why we workshop stuff. First fix. Boom, you're welcome. To arguably the best action sequence in the movie, I made it even better. Second fix, post-credit scene. Piece of shit. All right. Hate that scene. So we don't have the Bucky scene anymore. All right.
Oh wait, one question I have.
Yes.
Isn't it like 3 movies in a row where like the post-credit scene is Bucky just existing in Wakanda?
Civil War, but then you have Doctor Strange, Guardians, Homecoming, and Thor.
No, not like movies in the MCU. I'm just talking about like movies
Oh yeah.
where he's in, where like that's his
Okay.
inclusion.
Well, the first one he's actually in Civil War.
Yeah, but like
Third one he's
that's
actually in Infinity War. Actually, Infinity War doesn't have a post-credit scene of him.
but again, it is just I love how there's
Oh,
just 3 main moments where it's just like, don't forget the Winter Soldier is chilling in Wakanda.
come on, they want you to love this plot device.
But
And they're
like
gonna.
what why? Like what's
No,
important about him just exist? He's not even awake when he's there.
no disrespects to Sebastian Stan, very talented actor. But
But like the thing is, you can't even set up anything because he's supposed to be like asleep for most of his time there.
come on, he was up. He was awake. The children woke him up.
Oh
So
shit,
new
he got
post-credit
woke.
scene. He did. New
Oh wait, no, no,
post-credit
no. They
scene.
wait. He didn't get woke. They saved that for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. All right,
Wow.
don't act like they
I'm
didn't do
sorry.
that.
I told you I didn't watch it yet. New post-credit scene. Take out the Bucky scene. Instead, they're burying Killmonger because he's still family. They're gonna give him a burial, and so everyone walks away from the grave. Camera's looking at the grave. Camera slowly pushes in on the grave, slowly, slowly, and then Ludwig does some music. There's some cool music to the scene, right? Sad at first, but suddenly you see a spark. Like, oh, what is that? Another spark, and then the music evolves as the sparks grow into a flame, and you hear "Flame on." Fade to black. Michael B. Jordan will return as the Human Torch. Boom. Mic drop. Mic drop. Thus connecting Black Panther to Fan Four Stick. Because as we all realized, Black Panther prequel to Fan Four Stick. Really, Black Panther Fan 3 Stick.
Gotta leave room for the sequel.
What you gotta do?
Going back to the analysis for just 1 second, I just remembered one thing. It's like where a great example of how this movie had a bit of quippiness, but it was mostly informed by the characters as opposed to just the one-liner itself being good. Like that moment when Killmonger is brought in front of the court to like stand trial or whatever, and he just has that moment where he's like, "Hi, Auntie."
Yep.
That was good.
That's a great line. I thought I could have sworn he says that as he walks into the throne room and the camera turns, but no, they're two different great moments. Now, Pawan, I see you're laughing. It's as if you may agree that we made these movies better.
We did.
Right.
We've exponentially improved the quality of this film.
Here's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the quality of the film artistically, right?
But what does that matter?
Yeah, nothing's fine arts. What does that mean? You know what? This is what we have to do.
You know what's fine about the arts? What's fine is that
arts?
You can meticulously examine and rate them.
You know who's probably a great artist? Shuri, because Shuri great with science, and art is a science.
Yes.
Everything. What's the thing about science? Science is like if it happens once and it always happens again. Did I make that up?
Maybe, I don't know. Yes, we are scientists.
We're scientists ranking movies scientifically. Pawn, it's time to rank Black Panther on the $1 Billion Movie Club listing of movies. All right. Can I share my screen?
Can you share your screen? Let's find out.
All right. Oh, I'm
wrong thing to share, man. What is this? Whatever. What am I looking at?
All right, Pawn, there's a listing of movies.
All right. Well,
All right.
first we got to do the
As we
coin
do,
flip.
we gotta flip a coin. We gotta flip a coin. Come on.
As always, I'm gonna be heads. I'm gonna be heads.
Hands on heads.
It's a head.
All right, Pawan, we're asking you. Pawan, last week's episode, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Do you like Black Panther better or worse than The Last Jedi?
That's a really tough question. Because like both of them, the theme game, real strong for both of them. But you know what? This movie didn't have the badass fights. So I'm gonna have to say it's worse.
Wow, worse. Pawan, did you like this better or worse than Zootopia?
I mean, listen.
Where are you going?
This movie may have given people like something to work with the foot fetishes, but it didn't give furry stuff.
Did it?
The what are those moment, it showed his feet in sandals.
This movie has rhinos. Do the rhinos do anything for you? So you're saying,
but this movie didn't follow a police officer, and we all know.
wow,
Even bunnies, a cab. So
all cops are bunnies.
Yeah, and I don't like that stigma. I'm gonna say this is better than Zootopia.
Wow. All right. So we're ranking this between number 7, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and number 11,
So
Zootopia.
8 and 10.
Min of 8 and max 10. We're entering to the Numbertron.
The scientific
vibranium.
A combination of the 7 words that we said cumulatively.
Oh, you can't say the name unless you have a second person to say the third and fourth word at the same time the first person says the second and fifth words. All right, I'm hitting generate. The number is 9.
Number 9.
Black Panther, the 9th greatest film to ever make $1 billion.
Black Panther.
One, words are hard.
You know what? Just replace it with the red B, and it would have been good. It would have been good. Black Panther.
Let's recap the list. All right.
All right. At number 47, we got Pirates 4.
At number 46, Alice in Wonderland.
At number 45, Toy Story, the third one.
At number 44, Avatar, the first one.
41, we got Transformers, Dark of the Moon. That's the third one.
40, Avengers, Age of Ultron. The second Avengers, but like 18th Marvel, perhaps?
We got the third Despicable Me at number 39.
At 38, Transformers, Age of Extinction.
At number 37, we got 2 Pirate, 2 Caribbean.
Yes, Dead Man's Chest. Is that the one? Oh, is that the film about Sea of Thieves? At number 35, Captain America, Civil War.
34, we have the first Star Wars movie ever made, The Phantom Menace.
33, The Dark Knight Rises.
32.
Oh, getting The Dark Knight Rises because The Dark Knight doesn't go down.
The Dark Knight is a WWE character who happens to be at number 32.
At 31, Marvel's The Avengers.
At 30, we got the classic plushes themselves, the Minions.
At number 28, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey.
Number 27, we got Harry Potter. You know, that final one.
Oh, Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald?
No. I said the Harry Potter, that final one.
Oh, I see. I love how this somehow has turned to the longest segment every week. At number 26, Jurassic Park.
At 25, we have that movie that Marvel seems to always forget for some reason. Iron Man 3.
Number 24, Frozen.
22, Jurassic Park, but bigger.
Oh, The Lost World, Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
Oh, Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Oh, Jurassic Park, the Telltale video game?
I'm going to just keep saying yeah. Yeah.
Tied at number 21. Who would have thought a tie at number 21 between Andrew Stanton's Finding Dory, Jordan Peele's Us, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, and Ron Howard's Dr. Seuss How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I love how whenever you go for that one, you have to keep reminding yourself who directed Finding Dory.
I know who directs Finding Dory. I didn't
Yeah,
have
but like
to
you
find much-
always like stumble a little bit before going into that one, whereas the rest you're like, yeah.
Well, I'm worried. It's Stanton or Stanton? How am I supposed to say it?
At number 20, we got the Condon.
Oh no! What happened? My computer.
Oh no! You found out that the
Let's hurry up, let's
Simpson
hurry
went
up,
to
let's hurry up.
NYU.
Let's hurry up! My computer's fucking messing around.
We got the Condon, Beauty and the Beast at 20.
19 Titanic.
13, we got the 7th Star Wars movie made. That one's actually true. Yeah, it was.
11 Zootopia.
Number 9, we got Black Panther.
7 Rogue One: A Star Wars Story.
6, 8.
5 8 Star Wars Episode 8. The Last Jedi.
3, we got Lord 3 Rings.
Number 2 Furious 7.
Number 1, we got the I don't even know what number it is. It's a Bond that it's the only one that made $1 billion.
Skyfall. I'm going to Skyfall as we do every week. Juan, what an episode!
What an episode. We got Black Panther. We got the Sterling K. Brown appreciation second.
This is a great. I think this was a great episode, as we deconstructed a great movie, which is always nice. As always, shout outs to Max Lismagio for the art that you saw at the beginning of this.
The fuck out to Max Lismagio.
So harsh.
Like
remember,
if you're in a train at that moment, I want you to scream as loud as possible for Max Lismagio.
Scream, yell. All right. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the $1 Billion Movie Club, where we talk about movies that made money. Remember, like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube, subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google
Rate
Podcasts.
5 stars.
Hey, if you got an idea for who might be on the $1 Billion Movie Club's Hall of Fame, send us an email. Pawan, what is that email?
$1 Billion Movie Club at gmail.com. And also, we're working on a little special segment. Not a segment, a special episode once we catch up. So, like, if there's any moments throughout this series that caught your attention, let us know what it was. Like, give us a timestamp or something in the episode. Like, tell us what episode. Give us a timestamp. We'll appreciate that.
It's crazy. We're 33 episodes out of 47 into this. We're almost getting to the end there.
Yeah. We got some special plan for once we reach it. And we hope you'll join us along the journey and for the end of the journey.
Is it a guest? Is it a guest from the $1 Billion Movie Club Hall of Fame? You sent an email to Sterling's people, right?
I thought you did.
Fuck. Fuck. All right, we'll try Matt's next. Well, thank you for joining us. Join us next week for Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, the Avenger one.
Yeah, it's a long movie. It's a very long movie. And with that, remember,
what are those? Hello and welcome to the $1 Billion Movie Club. I am your co-host, Pawan Mehta, and joining me today is
Christian Pawan here.
And we are talking about a movie, as we have done for the past insert number of movies here. Yeah, weeks. That amount of time.
It's fascinating seeing you take over the hosting. Do you mind if I take over?
What film are we talking about today, Miss Simpson?
Well, what film are we talking on the $1 Billion Movie Club, the show where each and every week we talk about movies that made a whole lot of money and then we question how they made money and what may merit the film may have?
Yeah, that thing you just said.
Yeah, we're discussing a little movie called Black Panther.
Yeah,
Did you hear the car zooming
I
past
did
my...
not.
Damn it. Here we restart.
Okay, you could
Sorry.
just do it.
You had an interesting energy. I was so fascinated by it. And then I thought the car was heard, and I was like, I don't like this.